Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Fillmore Brothers podcast. Today, we're going to focus on our favorite console of all time, and also our first console of all time, the Super Nintendo. I'm Maverick 16-bit gamer.
And I am Demotion.
So we were looking at late 80s now, just about to hit 1990. I was still a kid, still pretty young. I was still playing with toys, my Ninja Turtles, my G.I. Joes, all that good stuff, going out, hanging out with my friends, going biking, playing sports. So I didn't know too much about gaming in general. I remember playing that PC games, but it wasn't really on my mind at the time. I was more about playing sports and just having fun like that. And we were living in the Middle East, so you wouldn't have like adverts for all these Super Nintendos or Nintendos and Mega Drives, all that stuff. So I didn't really know about it, but you had experience in playing the original Nintendo. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, I guess I actually saw it firsthand because one of my friends had one, and I got to play it at his house. He had a Super Mario Brothers, Excite Bike, Duck Hunt, all amazing games, especially Super Mario Brothers. Just the gamepad was just so amazing, and it was such a big jump over the Atari 2600. So that got me excited. Like, I need to get one of these, right? So I find out from one of my friends in school that one of his friends, who isn't in our school, is selling his Nintendo. And he gives me the phone number, right? So I was really excited. I asked my parents. They're like, yeah, secondhand, no problem. We'll get it. We'll go pick it up, everything. So I call this guy's phone number, and his mother picks up. And she goes, sorry, he's not here. I said, okay, no problem. Try it the next day. Sorry, he's not here. I thought, okay, wait a few days, called again. She went, sorry, he's not here. And then I was getting frustrated at this point, and I called again. And guess what happened? He's not there. And his mother was like, he's not here, and he's never going to be here. She just hung up the phone. And I just started crying, man. And I was devastated. And yeah, that was pretty much end of my dreams at that moment. But
did she mention the Nintendo, or she just said he's not here?
She just said he's not here and he's never going to be here. And she just hung up the phone. And I went back to school and asked my friend. And he's like, yeah, the guy doesn't want to sell it anymore. So that was a pretty much breakdown of purchasing a Nintendo. But there's a silver lining, right? Because just at that time, another friend just got the Super Nintendo, which had just come out, right? And yeah, I remember playing Super Mario World, just my mind being blown. Like, what is this, man? And he also had Final Fight, which was a beat 'em up game, which was at the time it was like, wow, man, this is such a big jump over anything I've ever seen.
For me, yeah, just to talk about it again, ActRaiser and Super Mario World. So that's the first games we got on the Super Nintendo. Why don't you tell people how we got the Super Nintendo? Because it wasn't really easy to get back in the day over there.
Yeah, it was pretty difficult. As you can imagine, Middle East didn't have everything at that time. They would get stuff but late, but obviously having the fever, he just wanted it, right, straight away. But luckily, one of my friends was going to Canada. And, we asked him to get it for us. And, it was really nice of them to actually do that. And they got us a SNES. We had a Super Mario World and ActRaiser. Probably two of my favorite games of all time to this day.
Now, Super Mario World, everyone knew about it. Now, how did you ask about ActRaiser?
ActRaiser was something that I saw in a magazine. So back then, there used to be a magazine called CVG, Computer and Video Games. And I believe I saw an ad or a review of ActRaiser in the magazine, which me and my friends used to get. And I was like, okay, let me just, this looks really good. Let me just check this out.
Yeah, ActRaiser, I mean, like I said, I didn't know anything about gaming before. I saw Super Mario World at, the Fatim house. A friend had it, mutual friends, the two brothers as well. So I remember being excited about it, and we probably had to wait a whole summer back in the day when you had those 3-month holidays for the Super Nintendo to come in, probably 92, around there. and I just remember being blown away completely with ActRaiser, and then finally having my own Super Mario World. And we kind of talked about those games in the previous podcast. So the other games I would probably remember is probably Final Fight, borrowing it from the same people, Capcom. Back in the day, Capcom was awesome. Loved them. Seemed like all the best games were coming from them. I was kind of disappointed with Final Fight that there was only one player. And, we didn't really have arcades back in the day, so we didn't know that the Final Fight was an arcade port, and it was initially a two-player game, and even had an extra character named Guy. For us, it was just Tony Hager. And one player kind of disappointed us, because when you're two brothers, you won't play together. But it was still fun.
Yeah.
The other game I really remember is Street Fighter 2.
Oh, all-time classic right there, man.
The first one. Just remember the Khwaja household getting it.
Oh, yeah.
And just everyone from the area just cramped up in a little room playing each
Everybody was there, man, just having Street Fighter 2 tournaments. It was just like the place to be at that time.
And it was one of those games where everyone just had their own character. They stick to it. They try to perfect it at the time. And, it was just exciting. You're just sitting in a small room with maybe about 15 kids. And, you're cheering it on. And you're daydreaming about having it in your house as well. Street Fighter 2 was definitely the first fighting game I ever saw where you could actually go against someone, instead of computer. And that leads to one of my favorite games of all time. I'll say Street Fighter 2 Turbo is easily my top 3, top 5 Super Nintendo games of all time.
Definitely.
Street Fighter 2 is a bit too slow for me now, but Turbo, yeah, is the perfect one. We got to talk about UN Squadron. Oh my god, the shmup. The music, the graphics. It was so fun. It was so hard. I remember borrowing that from a friend and just playing it hours and hours. Didn't get too far, but I loved it.